Amaze, amaze, amaze. That's the unforgettable line from the alien Rocky in Project Hail Mary. And honestly, it's exactly how I felt after watching this movie. After years of post-pandemic recovery, this might be the first Hollywood space film that made me want to cheer, quietly but intensely inside a theater like that. Stay tuned to find out more. Hey, come on! The screening is about to begin! This is Cinematic Motif. Hello, I'm Wanson, a film critic and a content creator, and welcome back to Cinematic Motif, where I introduce you films in Taiwan and around the world. Alright, so after 3 weeks of special report, we're finally back here on Cinematic Motif. I'm Wanson, the good old Wanson that you know. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the movie called Project Hail Mary, or in Mandarin Chinese, it's 极限返航, which is out in Taiwan on the 18th of March and out in North America in the US on the 20th of March, which is today. It stars Ryan Gosling and Sandra Hüller, and it tells the story of a middle school teacher who wakes up alone in space with no memory and ends up forming an unlikely friendship with an alien. So as his memory returns, he uncovers that he's in a mission to stop a mysterious substance killing the sun to save the Earth. Now, I'm going to go into the science bit. The sun is dimming, and there's a line from the sun to Venus called the Petrova line. It seems like the line is eating the sun. So that is the science, not the science, but like at least the sci-fi setting of this movie. So in today's episode, I'll break down why this film works so well, from its star power and storytelling choices to its deeper themes of courage and what it says about Hollywood's comeback after the pandemic. So it's going to be exciting. Stay tuned for more. Okay, so before we dive into the story of Project Hail Mary, let's start with the creative team, because that already tells us a lot about this movie, I would say. So this film is adapted from a novel by Andy Weir, and the same author behind The Martian, you know, the 绝地救援 in Mandarin Chinese, or 火星任务. That is the translation of the novel, but the film has a different name in Chinese. Anyway, the author of The Martian. So right away, we know that we're getting a story about survival in space, because this movie basically is the same story as The Martian. The directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are known for their comedic rhythm, from the Lego Movie to Spider-Verse. We've seen that sort of directing style. And the screenplay of this movie is written by Drew Goddard, who also adapted The Martian. So what I would say, like, this combination gives us a film that balances science with humor and spectacle with accessibility. So the other big point about this movie's team is Ryan Gosling. We love Ryan Gosling. We talked about La La Land on our show before, and his performance here feels like a culmination of his past roles. First of all, you know, back in the good old days, we have La La Land, his emotional sensitivity, and then we have his role of playing a spaceman in The First Man, which is the story about the Louis Armstrong. And so I would say Ryan Gosling has this sort of space familiarity, and this movie even blends in a bit of the awkward humor of a straight man in the movie Barbie. So it's a culmination for Ryan Gosling's past performance. So it's a good one. And his character Grace is not a typical hero. He's awkward, a bit cowardly, and deeply human, and that's exactly why he works for this role. Because this isn't just a story about saving the world, but also about someone learning how to face the crisis of human. For now, I'm going to play you a track. I'm not sure if you know this one. It's called Spaceman by Sam Ryder, who participated in the Eurovision for the UK a few years back, and he this song really it makes the world remember who he is. This is Spaceman on cinematic motif.
If I was an astronaut, I'd have a bird's eye view. I'd circle around the world and keep on coming back to you. In my floating castle, I'd rub shoulders with the stars, but I'm only human, and I'm drifting in the dark. I'm up in space now. Up in space now. I searched around the universe, been down some black holes. There's nothing but space, man. And I wanna go home. If I was an astronaut, I'd speak to satellites. My navigation systems would search for other life. But I'd be up and thinking about what I left behind, 'cause I'm only human with the real world on my mind. I'm up in space now. Up in space now. I've searched around the universe, been down some black holes. There's nothing but space, man. And I wanna go home.
I'm only a human up in space. Isn't that the story of Project Hail Mary? This is Spaceman by Sam Ryder here on Cinematic Motif. We're talking about Project Hail Mary today, and I feel like this song really fits in the tone and the topic of this movie. Project Hail Mary tells the story of a middle school teacher who ends up in space for some reasons that he doesn't know. Anyway, this movie, Project Hail Mary, what surprised me the most about the movie is that it's not really a science fiction film. This is my argument. I argue that this is not really a science fiction film, or at least not in the way we usually expect it to be. So compared to something like Interstellar, 星际效应, this film isn't about science saving humanity. It's about a person learning courage. We know that this film has a really similar backstory with the Interstellar. The sun is, the whole our solar system is dying, things like that. But I mean, it's different. So Grace, the middle school teacher, starts as someone who avoids responsibility. He hides in a classroom, deflects difficult questions, and has no real attachment to the crisis in the world. So if you still remember something, if you've actually watched this movie, you would know that Grace, actually, he played a little game in the classroom with his students. The game is called Throwing the Ball, and he always throws the ball away from himself because he doesn't want to answer the difficult questions about the perturber line, the dying and dimming sun. That is his characteristics. But when he's in space forces him to change. Isolation pushes him to grow, really grow up. So there's a key moment in the film where the alien Rocky struggles to understand the idea of sacrifice. Actually, Rocky is more of like not just understanding, but also expressing the idea of sacrificing oneself for others. And the Grace, he types on the computer, that word is bravery. So that moment defines the entire film. And if you look deeper, even the title Hail Mary carries religious symbolism. It echoes the idea of savior figure, someone who sacrifices for others. Hail Mary, it's part of the Bible that talks about how Jesus is how the Mary is pregnant with Jesus in her body. And what's interesting is that in this movie, the spaceship itself is called Hail Mary. So Grace is the only human survived in that, spaceship, Hail Mary. So isn't Grace the savior himself? There's a religious symbolism coined there by the original author Andy Weir. But I would say this film never feels heavy because of Rocky the alien. So Rocky is really funny, expressive, and even unexpectedly lovable. He's the star of this movie. And the friendship between him and Grace through different gestures, sounds, and even something as simple as a touch or a hug becomes emotional core of this movie. And that relationship really makes Grace's bravery believable and more human to us audience.
Welcome to the
There's also another scene that really touches me in this movie. That is when Sandra Hüller's character Eva, she's standing there singing a song to the whole team on Project Hail Mary, talking about their responsibility to save the world. And the song that she sang was this one, Sign of the Times by Harry Styles.
We never learned we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. We never learned we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from your bullets? The bullets. Pretty good from here. Remember, everything will be alright. We could meet again somewhere far away from here. We never learned we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. We never learned we've been here before. Why are we always stuck and running from the bullets? The bullets. Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the times. We gotta get away from here. We gotta get away from here. Stop your crying, baby, it'll be alright. They told me that the end is near. We gotta get away from here.
Sign of the Times by Harry Styles, which was sang by Sandra Hüller in the movie Project Hail Mary. And in fact, beyond the story, the whole movie, Project Hail Mary, also tells us something about Hollywood today. You know, after the pandemic in 2020 and 2021, streaming platforms changed how we watch movies. Staying home became a norm for people. So the big question for the film's productions companies in Hollywood is, how do you bring people back to theaters again? And one answer is spectacle. As we've discussed in our special report on cinematic motif earlier last year, we did a special episode about who still goes to cinema in Taiwan. We talked about something like the it's communal value of movie theaters, and even spectacle proposed by Wesley, the film critic.
It's
You know, cinema has always relied on creating something you can't experience at home or on TV or on your computer. Something immersive and overwhelming and even a shared experience. And this film clearly understands that. First of all, it's released in IMAX, 4DX, Dolby Cinema, all formats designed to make the experience bigger and more epic. And I have to say, I watched the IMAX version. It's so good. And visually, the film is crafted by Greg Fraser, the cinematographer of Dune, bringing scale and texture to space. And the film even pays homage to classics like Interstellar. For example, you know, the spacecraft in this movie, the alien spacecraft looks exactly like the spacecraft in Interstellar. Not the spacecraft, but like inside the black hole. That is the thing. And this film even intentionally pays tribute to 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know, there is a scene in the spacecraft where Grace is standing there in an orange suit and looks exactly like the 2001: A Space Odyssey. So basically, this movie is connecting itself to the history of sci-fi cinema and trying to bring us a epic feeling. Not just through the visual, but also through these different, you know, tribute to these classics. And this film even combined with Daniel Pemberton's dynamic score, and the result is something carefully engineered. It's a cinematic event, it's a spectacle for people to go to the movie theaters to really enjoy. So maybe that is the point. In a time when we watch at home, like watching movies there at home is much easier. Project Hail Mary reminds us why we go to the theater. We go to the theater to feel awe, to feel scared, to be together in the dark, and then feel the sort of huge things and huge events and huge visual happening in the movie theater. And that is the point for Project Hail Mary. And most importantly, it's really touching, and visually it's splendid. There's even a playful, you know, thing about different sizes of the screen. So that's why I really highly recommend you to go and watch the IMAX format, because that is the only way you can see that change of screen format. So the film is out in the world, in Taiwan, in the US. Go and watch this movie if you can, Project Hail Mary. And now I'm playing you the song in the trailer of this movie. This is Champagne Supernova by Oasis. And it's also the song that really, I mean, this is a nice pick. It really goes aligned with this movie, the plot of the movie.
Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide.
Alright, so that's all for Cinematic Motif. As always, if you've got any requests or feedback, send your email to wanson@rti.org.tw. And you can also follow me on Instagram and YouTube. My handle is @wansonsefe. This has been the show, and thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be back next week. Goodbye.
Over in the sky. Up the dawn and ask her why. A dream, she never dies. Wipe that tear away now from your eye. Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where were you while we were getting high? Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide.
You're listening to Radio Taiwan International.